So here's the problem as I see it. We look at our spiritual lives and we know that we want to grow with God. We know that we want to grow consistently, not in fits and starts, but consistently over a period of time and throughout the rest of our lives. And we think, what have we got to do in order to achieve that? Well, we might think to ourselves, I need to pray more every day. I need to read the Bible more every day. I need to be kind to more people and show more compassion. I need to be more deliberate in my financial giving, or I might need to volunteer a bit more at church or with various charities and organisations. And the thing is, when we think of it like that, when we think about all the different things we should be doing, it becomes a bit overwhelming, doesn't it? And we end up either doing nothing at all or spreading our attention around to too many things at one time, and we don't really achieve much at all. So what I want to do today is to give you one simple principle that's going to help you be more consistent in your spiritual growth. It's a very simple principle, but it's not easy to live out. So I hope you'll find it helpful anyway. And what I want to do, or what I want you to do, quite simply, is to ask yourself, what is the one habit that you need to develop to grow consistently in your walk with God? What's the one habit you need to do consistently to walk with God and to grow spiritually? Now, it may not be what you think, because you might be there thinking, I need to pray more, or I need to study the Bible more, or I need to volunteer at church more. But that's not really what I'm talking about. I want to suggest to you that there's an underlying habit that is fundamental to your life, and if you get that habit right, then everything else will fall into place. Every other aspect of your life spiritually will fall into place, and it's what we call a keystone habit. Now, you know what a keystone is. When you're building a house or a building, then you put the keystone in place, and then every other stone is laid in place in position to that keystone. It's the foundational stone that if you get that right, then you get everything right as well. Now, what is your keystone habit? Well, everybody has a different keystone habit. Let me explain how it might work for you. You might say to yourself, well, actually, what I really need to do in order to become more consistent in my spiritual journey is I need to get up earlier in the morning. I need to get up at 5:30 in the morning. Now, if you do that, if you make that your keystone habit, then that will give you more time to pray. It will give you more time to study the Bible. It will give you more time to exercise. You'll go into the day in a better frame of mind, which means you'll end up being kinder and more compassionate people. Do you see what I mean? Now, that might be your keystone habit. Your keystone habit that you need to do might be to exercise more. If you exercise more as a keystone habit, that will make you happier, which will make you kinder and less given to anger, perhaps. It might change the way you think about food and alcohol. It might give you a kind of better frame of mind, whereby you'll be able to pray more and study scripture more. Your keystone habit that you might need to adopt maybe to eat better. If you get better nutrition, then in that way you'll feel better in yourself, you'll feel more calm, you'll feel more disposed to be kind to people, kind to yourself. It might give you more energy, and that will then help you to pray more, study the Bible more, or whatever. So your keystone habit is different for everyone. And if you can discover what your keystone habit is that you need to take on, then it will then impact every other area of your life and every aspect of your spirituality. So your consistency in spiritual growth will be dependent on your adoption of your keystone habit. We see an example of that, I think, in Scripture. In Daniel, in the life of Daniel, Daniel chapter 6, we read that Daniel would pray 3 times every day. That was his keystone habit. Without any derivation from that routine, whatever else was happening in his life, he would always pray 3 times a day. And because he had nurtured that as a keystone habit, so that then impacted on his diet. We know that there were certain foods he would eat and certain foods he wouldn't. It was the source of his faith in God. It was the source of his courage as a human being. By adopting that keystone habit, every other aspect of his spiritual life was impacted for good. So if you want to be consistent in your spiritual growth, it's not really about setting yourself 10 or 15 different goals in different aspects of your life. It's not saying, okay, well, I need to pray this often throughout the day. I need to read the Bible this often. I need to give more financially, or whatever it is. It's discovering the one keystone habit that, if you take it on, will then transform every other area of your spiritual life. So if you can spend some time thinking through and discovering what your keystone habit actually is and what will make the difference, I then want to challenge you and say to you, okay, well, having discovered it, practice it for 90 days without missing a day. So I'm not talking Monday to Friday, I'm talking 7 days a week. If your keystone habit is to get up at 5:30, you think, then do that 7 days a week for the next 90 days. If it's to improve your nutrition, then do that. If it's to get exercise, then do that for 90 days, and see how that then begins to impact the rest of your spiritual life. And how all those other things, like reading scripture, praying more, volunteering, attitudes to exercise, attitudes to money, everything else will then fall into place. So the point is, you're not setting yourself 10 goals that you will probably inevitably fail at. You're just setting yourself one goal, one keystone habit that will transform every area of your life. And I promise you that if you do that, and you do it without fail, to the best of your ability, you will see a real level of consistency coming into every aspect of your spiritual life and your journey with God. Give it a go. Find your keystone habit. Well, if you watch my videos, you'll know that I've been in Spain for the last 5 weeks. This is my final day in Spain. We've had the most blissful time here. It's been absolutely wonderful. And today I head back to London for 4 days, and then I'm off to Malaysia and Australia and New Zealand for 7 weeks next week. So next time you see me, I'll probably be in rainy London, and then after that down under for some more gorgeous weather and theological reflection. Thanks for being with me today. I hope this Keystone Habit idea works for you, and I look forward to being with you again very soon. Take care. Bye.